Lovely viewers, today's story is one that gently tugs at the heart, the kind that makes you pause mid-scroll, take a deep breath, and feel something real. Imagine a quiet room filled not with flashing cameras or roaring applause, but with emotion so thick you could almost touch it. Imagine gratitude spoken not for fame or success, but for love, patience, and unwavering support. This is the emotional scene that has captured hearts everywhere. Lee Min-ho standing before Song Hye Kyo's mother, his voice steady but eyes shining, thanking her for her support in a moment that felt more powerful than any drama scene he has ever performed. As you listen, I want you to picture it with me. Close your eyes for a second and step away from the noise of the world. This wasn't a red carpet event. This wasn't scripted. This was human. This was raw. And this was deeply personal. Lee Min-ho, a man adored by millions, reduced to sincere humility as he expressed gratitude to the woman who raised the love of his life. Viewers, before we dive deeper, let me ask you something to keep your heart engaged throughout this story. Have you ever wanted to thank someone who stood by you silently, who supported your love, your dreams, your struggles, without ever asking for recognition? Keep that person in mind as we move forward, because that is exactly the kind of gratitude that unfolded in this unforgettable moment. Those close to the family described the atmosphere as calm but emotionally charged. The kind of calm that comes before tears, before words you've rehearsed in your heart but never quite spoken out loud. Lee Min-ho reportedly stood up slowly, almost hesitating, as if he knew that once he began speaking, there would be no turning back. His hands were clasped together, not in nervousness, but in respect. And when he addressed Song Hye Kyo's mother, it wasn't as a superstar, but as a man deeply aware of the responsibility and blessing he carries. He spoke about understanding what it means to love someone who has already lived a full life, who has endured public scrutiny, personal pain, and private healing. He acknowledged that loving Song Hye Kyo also meant respecting the family that shaped her, protected her, and supported her even during her quietest, hardest moments. His words were simple, but their weight was immense. He thanked her mother for trusting him, for opening her heart, and for allowing him to stand beside her daughter not just as a partner, but as a source of comfort and stability. Lovely viewers, pause here and let that sink in. Trust is not easily given, especially when your child's life has been lived under a microscope. For a mother, letting someone new into that space requires courage. And Lee Min-ho recognized that. He didn't gloss over it. He didn't take it lightly. He honored it. Those present say Song Hye Kyo's mother listened quietly. Her expression soft but attentive. She didn't interrupt. She didn't rush him. And when he finished, there was a silence that felt sacred. The kind of silence where everyone understands that something meaningful has just been shared. Then, with a gentle nod and eyes filled with emotion, she reportedly reached out, holding his hands in hers. That single gesture spoke volumes. It was acceptance. It was reassurance. It was a mother acknowledging that the man before her truly understood what her daughter meant. Song Hye Kyo, seated nearby, was visibly moved. Friends say she tried to remain composed, but tears welled up despite her efforts. Not tears of sadness, but tears of relief and gratitude. Imagine seeing the person you love express thanks to the person who gave you life, who guided you through heartbreak and healing. It's a moment that connects past, present, and future in one fragile thread. Viewers, this is where I want you to reflect again. How often do we celebrate romantic love but forget the quiet support systems behind it? Parents, mentors, family members who stand in the background, hoping, praying, trusting. This moment reminded everyone watching that love does not exist in isolation. It is nurtured by community, by understanding, by generations of care. Lee Min-ho also spoke about learning from Song Hye Kyo's strength, and how much of that strength, he believes, comes from her mother's guidance. He expressed gratitude for the values instilled in her, values that have shaped their relationship into one built on patience, respect, and emotional honesty. He didn't present himself as perfect. Instead, he openly acknowledged his own flaws and promised to continue growing, not just as a partner, but as a person worthy of that trust. That humility is what made the moment resonate so deeply. In a world where celebrity relationships are often painted with glamour and fantasy, this scene grounded everything back in reality. Love takes work, support matters, and gratitude can be the most powerful expression of all. As the conversation continued, the atmosphere reportedly softened even more. Laughter followed tears. Memories were shared. Stories from Song Hye Kyo's childhood surfaced, moments that reminded everyone that behind the global star is a daughter who once needed comforting after a hard day, encouragement after a failure, and unconditional love no matter what. Lee Min-ho listened attentively, smiling, occasionally surprised, clearly cherishing the chance to understand her more deeply through the eyes of her mother. Lovely viewers, doesn't that kind of listening feel rare these days? Truly listening, not to respond, not to impress, but to understand. This scene wasn't loud, but it was powerful because it was built on presence. As the evening drew on, one final exchange stood out. Song Hye Kyo's mother reportedly thanked Lee Min-ho in return, not just for loving her daughter, but for respecting her journey. She expressed appreciation for his patience, especially during moments when the weight of the past lingered quietly between them. Her words were gentle but firm, the words of a mother who sees, who understands, and who hopes. And just like that, what began as a thank you became a shared acknowledgement, a mutual promise of care, a foundation strengthened by honesty. Viewers, if this story touched you even a little, let that feeling stay with you. Let it remind you to express gratitude while you can, to honor the people who support your love, your dreams, your healing. Because sometimes, the most emotional scenes in life don't happen on screen. They happen in quiet rooms, between people who choose understanding over ego, gratitude over pride, and love over fear. Stay with me, lovely viewers, because stories like this aren't just about celebrities. They are mirrors. And somewhere in this moment between Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's mother, there may be a reflection of your own story waiting to be seen. And as that evening gently unfolded, the emotion in the room did not fade away. It transformed. It shifted from the intensity of gratitude into something warmer, something steadier, like embers glowing after a flame. Those present could sense that this was not just a moment that would be remembered, but one that would quietly shape the future of the relationship they were witnessing. Lee Min-ho remained seated close by, no longer speaking, but fully present. His posture was relaxed now, shoulders lowered, as though a weight he had carried for a long time had finally been set down. Song Hye Kyo's mother, too, appeared lighter, her expression softened by reassurance. For a mother, knowing that her daughter's heart is in safe hands brings a peace that words can barely describe. And in that shared space, there was an unspoken understanding. This was no longer about approval alone, but about unity. Song Hye Kyo eventually broke the silence with a quiet smile, her voice gentle as she thanked her mother for always believing in her, even when life had not been kind. She spoke about moments when she doubted herself, when the noise of public opinion felt louder than her own heartbeat, and how her mother's steady presence had kept her grounded. It was a rare vulnerability, the kind that only emerges when one feels completely safe. Lee Min-ho listened closely, his eyes never leaving her face, as if memorizing every word. Lovely viewers, imagine witnessing that. Three people connected not by fame, not by obligation, but by shared care and mutual respect. It was not a performance. There were no rehearsed lines, just honesty unfolding naturally. The conversation slowly widened, touching on hopes for the future. Nothing extravagant, nothing overly detailed, just simple wishes, health, peace, continued understanding. Song Hye Kyo's mother spoke about wanting her daughter to live freely, to love without fear, and to find joy in the everyday moments that often go unnoticed. Lee Min-ho nodded, agreeing quietly, his expression serious yet warm, as though he understood that these simple wishes were, in fact, the most important promises one could ever make. At one point, Lee Min-ho reportedly shared a memory of his own upbringing, reflecting on how his parents taught him the importance of respect and responsibility. He admitted that fame had taught him many things, but family had taught him everything that truly mattered. This mutual exchange of personal stories bridged any remaining distance, turning what could have been a formal interaction into a deeply human connection. Viewers, this is where the story becomes even more relatable. Because at its core, this wasn't about celebrities at all. It was about what happens when two families, two histories, and two hearts find a way to move forward together. It was about choosing empathy over assumption, patience over pressure. As the night progressed, subtle moments spoke louder than words. A shared laugh over an old story. A gentle hand placed on another's shoulder. A quiet glance exchanged between Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo that carried reassurance, as if to say, "We're okay. We're doing this together." These are the moments that don't make headlines, yet they define real relationships. Hye Kyo's mother reportedly expressed her hope that both of them would continue to protect each other, not just from external criticism, but from the internal doubts that inevitably arise in life. She reminded them that love is not about perfection, but about choosing each other even when things feel uncertain. Lee Min-ho responded with a promise, not grand or dramatic, but sincere, that he would always strive to be someone her daughter could lean on, laugh with, and grow alongside. Lovely viewers, doesn't that kind of promise feel more powerful than any public declaration? In a world obsessed with spectacle, this quiet commitment stood out as something rare and precious. As the gathering began to wind down, there was no rush to leave. Goodbyes were unhurried, lingering just a little longer than necessary. Before parting, Lee Min-ho bowed respectfully once more to Hye Kyo's mother, thanking her again, not just for her support, but for the strength and grace she had passed on to her daughter. This time his voice did not waver. It carried confidence rooted in sincerity. Hye Kyo's mother responded with a smile that held both warmth and wisdom. She reminded him to take care of himself too, a small but meaningful gesture that symbolized acceptance not just of his role in her daughter's life, but of him as a person. That single sentence, simple as it was, felt like a door fully opening. Later, as Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo left together, those close to them noticed a subtle shift. They walked side by side, steps in sync, not speaking much, yet clearly connected. The weight of the evening settled gently around them, not heavy, but grounding. It was the kind of shared experience that strengthens bonds, that becomes a reference point during future challenges. Viewers, this is the part where you come in. Think about the moments in your own life that didn't involve applause or recognition, yet changed everything. Conversation. Thank you. A gesture of trust. These are the moments that quietly redefine relationships. In the days that followed, those who know the family say the atmosphere remained peaceful, even hopeful. There was no need for public statements or dramatic confirmations. The meaning of that emotional scene spoke for itself. It was not meant for the world to dissect, but for the people involved to carry forward. And perhaps that is why this story resonates so deeply. Because beneath the celebrity names and public fascination lies a truth we all recognize. Love grows strongest when gratitude is expressed, when families are respected, and when hearts are brave enough to speak honestly. So, lovely viewers, as you reflect on this continuation, let it be a gentle reminder. Say thank you when it matters. Listen when someone opens their heart. And never underestimate the power of a quiet moment shared between people who choose understanding over everything else. Stay connected, stay kind, and keep your hearts open, because sometimes the most emotional scenes in life happen when no one is watching, yet everyone feels them. And it was from this quiet truth that the days following that intimate evening began to take on a deeper meaning, not only for Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo, but for everyone around them who sensed that something profound had gently settled into place. In the mornings that followed, there was no rush to explain anything to the world. No need for clarifications or carefully worded statements. What had happened did not belong to the public. It belonged to the hearts that experienced it. And yet, as often happens with moments that carry genuine emotion, the energy of it lingered. Those close to the couple noticed subtle changes, small shifts that spoke volumes. Lee Min-ho appeared calmer, more centered, as though the weight of expectation had softened into something he could finally breathe through. Hye Kyo too seemed lighter, her smiles more frequent, her silence more peaceful. Lovely viewers, have you ever noticed how emotional security changes the way someone carries themselves? It doesn't announce itself loudly. It shows up in relaxed shoulders, unhurried steps, and a quiet confidence that says, "I am supported." That was the change people saw. The connection with Song Hye Kyo's mother did not end with that single evening. It evolved into something ongoing and meaningful. Simple messages were exchanged. Short check-ins, warm greetings, thoughtful questions about health and well-being. Nothing excessive. Nothing forced. Just the steady rhythm of mutual care. Lee Min-ho made a conscious effort to remain present, understanding that respect is not proven once, but practiced consistently. Song Hye Kyo watched this with a heart full of gratitude. For her, this was not just about romance, it was about harmony. About seeing the two worlds she cherished most find balance with one another. There were moments when she would quietly reflect on how far she had come, remembering times when she felt torn between personal happiness and familial responsibility. Now those lines no longer felt divided. They felt aligned. Viewers, this is where the story deepens even further. Because love, when it is truly supportive, does not isolate. Integrates. It brings people together without asking anyone to shrink or sacrifice their truth. As weeks passed, conversations between Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's mother grew more comfortable. They spoke about everyday things. Meals, routines, memories of the past, hopes for the future. She shared stories of Song Hye Kyo's childhood that hadn't come up before. The shy moments, the stubborn ones, the resilience that showed itself early on. Lee Min-ho listened with genuine interest, occasionally laughing, sometimes visibly moved. These stories allowed him to love her not just as the woman she is today, but as the child she once was. And in return, he shared pieces of himself as well. Not the polished image the world often sees, but the quieter parts. The doubts, the lessons learned the hard way, the moments that shaped his character away from the spotlight. Song Hye Kyo's mother appreciated this honesty. For her, transparency mattered more than perfection. Lovely viewers, pause again and think about this. How often do we feel pressure to present our best selves, especially to those we want approval from? And yet, the deepest connections are formed not through perfection, but through sincerity. There were moments when Song Hye Kyo's mother gently reminded both of them to protect their private joy. She understood the nature of public life and the way narratives can be twisted, intentions misunderstood. Her advice was simple but wise. Cherish what is real, and do not let outside noise define your truth. Lee Min-ho took these words to heart, recognizing the value of guidance that comes from experience and unconditional love. At home, the atmosphere grew even warmer. Shared meals felt more meaningful. Conversations lasted longer. Silence felt comfortable rather than awkward. There was a growing sense that they were building something rooted not in urgency, but in stability. They were not trying to rush the future. They were allowing it to unfold naturally. Viewers, doesn't that feel refreshing? In a world that constantly pushes us to hurry, to define, to label, there is something deeply comforting about choosing patience. From time to time, Lee Min-ho would reflect privately on that evening, the moment he thanked Song Hye Kyo's mother. He understood now why it felt so pivotal. Gratitude had opened a door not just to acceptance, but to deeper understanding. It had allowed vulnerability to flow freely, dissolving any lingering apprehension. That realization stayed with him, influencing how he approached relationships beyond romance, with friends, colleagues, and family alike. Song Hye Kyo noticed this change and admired it quietly. She saw how his interactions became more thoughtful, how he listened more intently, how he expressed appreciation more openly. It reminded her that emotional growth is not a destination, but a continuous process, nurtured by meaningful encounters. Lovely viewers, this is another gentle reminder woven into their story. When we allow ourselves to grow, everyone around us feels the impact. As seasons shifted, the bond between them all continued to strengthen. Occasional visits were filled with warmth rather than formality. Song Hye Kyo's mother no longer felt like someone standing at the edge of their relationship, but like a steady presence within it. Her support was not intrusive. It was grounding. She offered advice when asked, listened when needed, and trusted them to walk their own path.